Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Can everyone hear me well? Yeah, great. So thank you. Right, okay. We are still waiting for quite a few people to join. A lot of people on already, as you can tell. But yeah, so I'd say maybe get yourself a cuppa, get yourself a nice cup of tea. I've done the same. We're looking at about an hour's time for this webinar. There's plenty going through. There's plenty of stuff we're going to go through. We're going to do a really big Q&A bit as well. I can tell a lot of you are already posting questions, which is perfect. So we'll go through them at the end. I'm hoping to get through these slides at around 25 to 22. So we'll go through quite a lot of value. It's going to be going into quite a lot of detail as well. And then hopefully the questions will really dive deep into all these different topics. So yeah, like I think the email said, get pen and paper ready. Any questions that you have, let me know. The chat, which is on the right-hand side, just use that. There's been quite a bit of networking going on, which is great to see in the past few webinars. So use that tool. Fantastic. I'd say whilst I'm going and talking, maybe just tune in while you can, taking that information. And yeah, we'll just go from there. Like I say, we are waiting for quite a few people still. I'm expecting a builder to come around and fix my shower as well. So if you hear someone knocking, you know why. But I have got a sign on the door. But so is the world we live in at the moment. But yeah, like I say, give it a few more minutes, guys, and we'll get cracking. Whilst we are waiting, actually, I'll have a look at the question area, and I'll see what I can answer as well. There is one of my teammates, Matt, is also on hand as well, so he'll be answering some of your questions as well. So don't hold back. Get them all out. Get them all out of your system. And any that I don't answer today, I'll actually get a spreadsheet, like an Excel document of all the questions, so I can find you later, and I'll get back to you all. Okay, let's have a little look. Yeah, so quite a variety of questions already, actually. Time on. Yeah, again, I think might give it a couple more minutes, guys. So anyone who is on the edge of making a cup of tea, you do have a couple of minutes. Okay, good. Yeah, some really good questions in here. Can everyone still hear me? I've got a few comments saying that they can't hear me. So is everything good? Yeah, okay, we're good there. You might just have to just reset your tabs. Sometimes we have had in the past, if you just refresh, that works. That sorts of sound out as well. So give that one a go. Nice, okay. Yeah, some really cracking questions there, guys. This is really, really good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, awesome. All right, how many we got on at the moment? Okay. So yeah, this looks good. Like I said, I'll just wait for anyone who's finishing the cup of tea. I might just top up mine while we're waiting, and then I think we'll get started, guys. All right. Oh, okay. cracking that. Okay, fantastic. Right, so hi everyone. I am Jamie Cording from Copters. I've been working here for about 18 months now, helping people like yourselves getting into the industry, start up a business, and really get rocking and rolling. I've helped a lot of people do it now. Some really, really successful friends I've got now in the industry. So all this insight today is all about giving you some value, some ideas, a little bit of clarity moving forward. It is a very new industry. We're still in the early adopter stage. I'm sure you've heard it many, many times. It's only going up, especially with what's going on at the moment. So many people are asking me, how is Copters at the moment? The amount of businesses that want to use drones at the moment instead of putting people in harmful situations. It's nuts, really. We're getting a lot of calls that sort of way on. But like I say, in this webinar, we're going to go over quite a big overview and hopefully answer lots and lots of questions for you all. As I mentioned, you got the chat on the right hand side. If you can keep the questions into the questions bit, I'll answer as many as I can. And it just means if you do put a question in the chat box, I might miss it. That's the only problem. So make sure they're all in the questions. But yeah, so yeah, Jamie from Copters, and let's crack on, guys. Okay, so for anyone who hasn't already, get my email down. If you have any questions that don't get answered, it might be a few months down the line. I've got quite a lot of friends now in the industry, clients now that'll just pop up every now and again. We might have already got you through this process. Get it written down and we'll go from there, okay? Okay, so what I'll be covering, I've touched on it slightly already. We're going to go through some industry specifics, drone training, the actual hardware, and that will link in with the different industry specifics that we'll talk about. Finding work. So I'm going to give some top tips on this, which I think could be really, really valuable. For any of you who were on Steve's webinar last week, I posted out my email address and there was a lot of feedback from that about doing it part-time, about doing this on the side. So I thought I'm going to post my top tips out. Normally this is what I do over the phone anyway, but then you've got it there. And it's more value for yourself. We'll touch on regulations because it's probably what I get the most questions on at the moment. Rightly so. It's confusing, so I completely get why. And like I say, we'll have a really big Q&A section at the end. And everyone will get a copy of this. So friends and family, any colleagues that you have that haven't been able to get on, just let us know. And we will be sending a copy out to everyone anyway. I think it'll be available for everyone on YouTube. Andrea, I think you're struggling with sound a little bit. So again, everything will be sent out and you'll get a copy. So Andrea will get a copy of this, don't worry. Okay, let's have a go. So I've mentioned it already. Where are we at the moment? Okay, that little here is shuffled over a little bit, but it should be just in the red bit as we're going up. We're in that early adopters stage. Not in the early majority anymore. So we will get to that stage eventually. So Steve, when he's doing this, he normally mentions from the early majority, you don't get that late majority dip. It just will carry on going up. So this is a general business spike, as it were. So this is what happens with every business. There's a majority, everyone jumps on that. And that's when it starts to plateau out. In some areas of the industry, you are going to have that cowboy situation. People are going to get a drone from Argos, let's say, and offer work to family and friends. And that can be a pain, but you just need to stand firm at your quality. Again, I'll go into this in a lot more detail later date, but stand firm at what you're doing, believe in the products and the service that you're providing, and you'll be fine. You'll jump over that. But in terms of the industry, just after the chasm, we are in that early adopters red stage, and it's only going up. And again, Steve mentions this a lot. At Copters, we can feel this. Companies, a hell of a lot of photography, media, construction, surveying, inspection companies, freelance. We have so many inquiries every week asking the questions like you guys are doing as well. So hopefully this will clear a lot of it up for you. See plenty of questions for me to get through at the end of this as well, which is fantastic. Okay, so I see quite a few of you have already done this, but for yous who haven't, if you just pop down next to where it says questions, there is a polls slide as well. If you just click on that and just answer those, well, I can see them all changing as you're all doing it. And that'd be fantastic if I could get just a bit of an understanding. And then when I do have all these questions to walk through, I've got a little bit more information about yourself, and then I can really tailor it to what you're doing in the industry, how far along you are. If you have never picked up a drone before, let me just tell you now that it's not a problem. These drones are so easy to use. And it's one of the main things that I get asked. A lot of people say like toys, smaller drones, it's all experience. I used to have this little Chinook, which was awful to fly, but what great practice it was. I used to put loads of hours into that. So yeah, for anyone who hasn't done the poll, if you could just jump on that would be amazing. That'd be really good. Like I say, when I come around to answer your questions, it'll give you a great bit of help. And again, all of the above, I can see that's getting a lot of attention. Fantastic. That's absolutely fine. There are no wrong answers with this. It's just going to help me in the future. Great stuff. Yeah, some really good answers there. Davidson, yeah, great stuff. Fair few hours. That's really good. And off the back of the hours, and I'll probably touch on this a little bit later with the PSCO. As with a musical instrument, a hobby, a sport, the 10,000 hour rule really does apply. So it's like golf at the moment. They've just opened it back up, and I'm struggling to get back into the swing of things. But I know as soon as I put in them hours, I'm going to become way more competent. It's exactly the same for flying. The more you do, the more comfortable you become, the more confident you become. And then when you're going out to find work, you're going to have that swagger about you. These drones will do all the work for you anyway, but you're going to become a master of your industry by putting in the hours. Okay. Right, so frequently asked questions. Do I have the experience? Do I have the right kit? It's a massive one of the courses. And what do the new regulations mean? And these are the main four that I get at the moment. In terms of experience, I've gone into it a little bit there. If you have anything to draw on, fantastic, use it. Take advantage of that and really work with it. That might be a network, that might be a skill. Just take full advantage. If you've got a passion for something, or you've got experience, you've got time, you've got a network, why wouldn't you use that? Take full advantage. At the end of the day, it's dog eat dog out there, and we are building a business. This isn't just doing a course for the sake of it and just going out there. We have a lot of people want to do the course so they have a greater knowledge of the industry, which is absolutely fine for a safety reason. That makes complete sense. But if you're going to invest money, we're trying to start a business and we want you to get that money back. We need that return on investment because at the end of the day, you're representing copters. So if you've gone through our training, we want you and we're going to push you to really excel. So the more experience you have in the past, that obviously will help. But to counter that, you don't need any. So I've already mentioned that in terms of drones, they fly themselves. 5 hours flight time is the minimum of what we talk about before you do the flight assessment. From anyone who's on the webinar today, they'll probably tell you that in terms of flying, not everyone needs that. I was probably on about 5 flight hours before I did my assessment. In terms of flying, I knew I was fine with that. So I put a lot of time into the paperwork because I knew I wasn't completely spot on with that. So that's where I knew I needed to put my experience. So yeah, in terms of, I've never picked up a drone before, never seen one, but I'm interested in this new industry. That is absolutely fine. And we'll give you at Copters all the tools you need, all the training you need, the advice on the hardware. And leading on from that, the right kit, it mainly depends on what industry you're going into. A lot of people in the polls have said all of the above to that question. Again, that's fine. There are so many drones in there at loads of different price ranges that will tick all boxes. They might not be a specialist at that industry, but they'll cast the net wide, and we can be a bit of a yes man. So ideally, we want you to go into the industry, specialize, get that great return on investment, and succeed. But it's not always that straight line theory like that. So there might be a few kinks. You might move around a bit. Terry Sparrowhawk is a great example of that. He graduated with us, I think it's 3 years ago now. In his first 12 months, he actually changed his sector 3 times. So he had, I think he was a Mavic 2 Pro he had to start with, or it might have just been the Mavic Pro actually. And he changed from, he did a lot of motorsport photography, then he went into a state agency, and then he went into like video footage of a state agency. So, and it just tweaked, and that was because of the network. And he understood what he liked and then what he didn't like. But because he had a versatile bit of kit, he could jump from one thing to another. But at the same time, he was getting work. So then he jumped up to an Inspire after that. But yes, and I would encourage any of you guys to reach out to Terry as well, because he's a spot on guy. But yeah, so in terms of the kit, you've got so many options. You really, really do. And for all price points. In terms of the courses, when are they? I'm still getting this question a lot. So Copters Academy has started. So today, tomorrow, but why wait? Just crack on and do it. So many people say, oh, I'm going to wait till summer. Oh, I'm going to wait till next year. This is my next thing that I'm going to go for. Now is the perfect time. We have all this time on our hands. And for you people that are still working, I understand that, but the Copters Academy is built for you people most of all. So you can stop, start, take as many tea breaks as you want, and just do it whenever you can. If you've got a young family, this is designed for you as well. So you can do it late at night when everyone's asleep. There's about 18 hours in your PFCO. So this is completely down to you. You can do it as fast or as slow as you want. I had a chat a few weeks ago, which I've told a few guys. He did it over a weekend, which I think is too quick. But if you want to, you can. You've got that option to do it as fast or as slow as you want. So I really would say just crack on, book onto the course. Now's the best time to go for it. In terms of new regulations, at the moment, it's all about being commercial. And it's going to change over into being safety. A lot of what the course is about safety anyway. But it's just putting everything into risk factors, weight factors, and it's just all about safety. That's the easiest way to explain it for you guys to understand. Everything that you do now will transfer straight over. So there's no worry. No one's going to have to do the full course again. There's nothing like that. At Copters, we've been saying for a long time, crack on and do the PFCO, because everyone knows what that is. It's been trialed and tested. There's already been some teething problems with the new regs, which is bound to happen. But like I say, everything will transfer over, and Copters will look after you. We'll do the hard bit for you. If you need to do anything, we'll let you know. And actually, module 12 of our PFCO online course will actually go into a lot more detail as well. Okay, so in terms of Copters, the actual training itself, and this is face-to-face or this is online, you've got 3 components. So you have your theory. So you've got 8 modules you're going to work through, and then you have a theoretical test for this. So for each module, you have 8 questions in the theory test. So you've got 64 questions for any of you mathematicians. You need 75% to pass. And then you're all done, you're all good. All the information you can keep hold of. So if that's face-to-face, you've got the document. If that's online, perfect. You can jump back to this and give yourself a little refresher at a later date. Fantastic. Operations manual. So this is essentially your drone Bible. What drone do you have? How are you going to use it? Where are you using it? When are you using it? Safety, risk assessments. All of this is going to be in there. This will be updated every year. And this is the only thing you have to do every year. So it's basically your ops manual renewal. So the first one is your application, and then every year it's a renewal. So normally when it's face-to-face, we'll book you onto the course. We'll send out all the theory and some practical maneuvers for you to start practicing. We'll also give you this ops manual template. So this template will have examples in, and then you just delete those, input your own data, and then you'll send that off to our review team. Our review team will go through that, sift through that, normally around 5 working days, and then we'll get this back to you. The changes that we recommend, you make those amendments and send it back to us. So we'll repeat this process maybe 2 times, maybe 5 times. It depends on different people. For example, copters, we have to do this every year with all of our different pilots and drones. So you can imagine it's not an easy process, but we're going to make it easier for you. So that's the second component. And then the practical, it really is a case of you turn up, you do your flight assessment, you pass it, you go home. You'll get an hour and a half slot at one of our 11 locations. You'll turn up, you've got paperwork, which will help you with in the theory side, some flight planning, best practice, safe setup, that sort of thing. And you'll turn up, you'll do your flying for, normally it's about half an hour. So any of you guys that have already got a drone and flying, you'll know that's around the point of 1 battery. This is where I normally say people, if you're with DJI, you need to start considering a fly more kit. So half an hour's flight time, if you're getting to the end and you're starting to flash red, you need to have another battery ready so you can get up and fly again. If the instructor needs to see you flying for longer, it's ideal. You need it. If you're working in the industry, you need more than 1 battery. So especially with DJI, the Flymore is a fantastic option, and it comes with a fantastic little bag, loads more accessories and spares. In terms of the flying though, you got things like a figure of 8, which is probably the trickiest, arguably. I really enjoyed that one actually, and if anyone wants any tips on flying, give me a shout. You got boxes, squares. You do a top hat, which is, if you follow my finger, is just like that. It's like a 2-dimensional top hat. You'll be asked to rotate the drone and bring it back to you with 1 toggle. Very simple stuff. The instructor will give you a command, you follow it. It really is that simple. What is in your airspace? What is going on around you? I've told this story to quite a few people now. When I did my flight assessment, a sheep wandered into my landing zone, which was very obvious because it was a sheep. So I was very aware of it, but I didn't let my instructor know that there was a sheep there. And if something went wrong, I was going to land it to the left. Well, I'd prepared already with my paperwork, but I thought it was so obvious. But you've got to let everyone know. It's all these little things that you've got to really think about. So in terms of the PFCO, you've got those 3 components: your theory, ops manual, practical. In terms of the online, you'll do the theory and the ops manual. When you've passed these 2 components, that's when we push you onto the practical. We get that ticked off. After that, you just apply to the CAA, and then you're rocking and rolling. Okay, so for any of you who don't have a drone, haven't done the PFCO training, or potentially some of you who have already done it, a business starter package is a combination of these 3 components. So you've got your training, you've got your drone, you've got your CPD. They all vary. At the moment, we have 3 standout packages that we've put together, and these are all about basically casting the net wide. I've already mentioned it, and they're not specialists in any area, but they'll tick boxes for most jobs. This means you can be a yes man when you get into the industry. All 3 you'll recognize will have Flymore kits or 3 batteries minimum. And this is, again, so when you're in the industry, you're not going to have that worry. If a battery plays up, you've got a backup. You've always got a backup. If you've forgotten to charge it, you've got the backup. So in terms of training, normally that is the PFCO. At the moment, we've bundled that with the off-qual accreditation. So off-qual, it's basically a governing body, and it basically makes you stand out from the crowd. At the moment, our PFCO course is taught at level 4 standard. So level 4 is HNC, HND standard. So anyone who's been for university, the first year of university is taught at level 4 standard. So we've got that off qual, which we've stitched into our actual course. So the syllabus is taught at level 4 standard. It's taken us a long time to get that under our belts, and we're very proud of that. If your clients have seen you've gone out of your way to get training to the highest standard, you really are going to be put on more of a pedestal. You're actively going out of your way to get the best training available for a PSCO. And in terms of the level 5, as you make sense, that's like the second year of university. It is a tough course. We know our courses are tough, but we like that. Again, you're representing us in the industry, so we need to know that you've been trained to that high standard. We've given you all the information that you need to excel and do everything safely, do it properly and to the letter. In terms of drones, like you mentioned, we do have those 3 options, and I'll come back to these later, but if you have a different drone in mind, different sector in mind, we can chop and change these. So we can strip them down and we can build them up. Whatever's going to be best for you, that's what we're going to look to do. In terms of CPD, again, I'll touch on this a little bit later, but this is just help for you in your industry. If you're going into surveying or inspection, it's probably going to be valuable for you to do a Pix4D course. This is to do with 3D mapping, collecting data, and that's a fantastic way to show your clients what data you've captured. For example, if someone's looking at a thermal drone, a thermal sensor, our thermography course is going to be the best option for you. So yeah, in terms of business starter packages, we do have a bit of an offer running, and actually finished on Friday, but again, I'll touch on this a little bit later, but I am opening that up for another week. So anyone who missed out on that or has just had a few questions about it, not a problem. I'll touch on that later. So here we go. So finding my sector, and this is one of the reasons I put the poll out. I want to see how much it kind of it mirrored that into what you're looking into. You guys who are live with me. So as you can see, surveying is huge. And it has been for the last few years. Inspection is everywhere. So many people say, look, it's bad weather. How can you get into that industry? Fantastic. That's an amazing objection. It is. We do have bad weather. These drones will counter it. They've got amazing flying capabilities. But after bad weather, roofs really take a beating. Get your drone up and help a roofing team out. I had a leak. We had that really awful weather a couple of months ago now, and water was just coming in through my window, and it was just because on the guttering it was going underneath it instead of in it, obviously. And I popped my drone up there, and I could show the guy the pictures straight away. He didn't have to put up scaffolding for that job because it was just a ladder job after that. And I knew that would be the case. I knew it would be something simple like that, and if I can help, fantastic. So I really do enthuse you guys to crack on and do something similar. So inspection is a massive one in this country. Film and photography is a given. It really is. And if you've got a network in that industry, fantastic. Recently speaking to a good friend who passed the course, I think it was last summer actually now. And he's doing some film and photography for Escape, which is awesome. Really, really cool. So indoor flying, I think it was snowboarding, not skiing, just on some little jumps, just some little promo stuff. And that's fantastic. So don't think narrow-minded, think just open-minded, really go for everyone. Cast the net wide, get the jobs that you can, and then we start to narrow it as we become more specific. Data collection, we've got a few people tick that off as well. And if you see an opportunity, go for it. And we really do push people to do that. Just put in the work, guys, really, really do. Okay, so in terms of hardware, I've touched on this already. So this is really a bit of a jump in terms of our business starter packages. So if you are looking to get into surveying, the Phantom 4 RTK is the best thing for you. This is a very, very precise bit of kit. And when you're looking at the surveying industry, it's all about precision. How precise is your data? Because you're going to save people time by working in this industry, but is the data going to be as good? James Pick, who does a lot of talks on here, I'm sure a lot of you guys have watched his webinars as well. He says if you put bad data in to start with, and end up with bad data. You're going to end up with bad data, aren't you? It's a simple surveying little saying that them guys like really go on about, and the RTK is a fantastic bit of kit in terms of precision, data. The actual camera quality is fantastic as well. Off the back of that, the Phantom 4 multispectral. So that is all about agriculture, and there's not a lot going on in that industry in the UK. I'd say it's one of the tougher markets, but once you get the foot in the door, again, it's all about that network. If you get in with one farmer, you're going to get in with 10. I'm a Yorkshire lad myself, and I know how cheap them blokes can be, especially the Yorkshire part of that group. But yeah, in terms of the new generations that are coming through, if you can get in with one, you can get in with 10. It's all about saving money. It's all about saving time, and it's in terms of drones, it's about making it safer. And at the moment, that's a really big topic. But the first two, especially for the agriculture, saving time and money, that's huge. So if you can show them how much money they're losing by using their current methods, absolutely great opportunity there. So inspection, the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual is a great option for this. So it's quiet, it's easy to fly, you can get nice and close to things. You've got a thermal, you've got the RGB sensor, and they overlap as well. So you can use them separately or together, or one at a time. But when you use them together, it puts over like a film, and it adds more texture to the image, which is a really good feature of the drone. But yeah, and off the back of that as well, you've got the Power Anafi thermal. So, and that in terms of sensor, in terms of spec, it's very similar. Slightly smaller drone. It's the drone that I use. It's very quiet, and very easy to fly. So, so that will be the ultimate BSP for the Enterprise Dual, and then you've got the Power Anafi thermal, which is our I think it's not our ultimate, but it's our advanced group. In terms of cinematography, media, the Inspire. So if you're watching any of David Attenborough's work on TV, you'll see at the end of the program, a lot of the time they'll put an Inspire up in the air. It's great, and my girlfriend's getting sick of it now when I mention, oh, that's the Inspire 2, that's the Inspire, oh, X7, X5 today. So yeah, it is industry leading. It's fantastic. It's awesome to fly. And personally, I think as a drone, it is the best looking drone in the industry. When the body drops down and the wings go high, it's stunning to watch. It really is. Okay. And in terms of hardware, a lot of drones will do a good job. They do really well. There's kind of a level where if you drop below that, you will begin to struggle, but you can get good pictures from most cameras nowadays. Ideally in the industry, and this is a big one really, guys. So it's all about who can you beat. I mentioned earlier, it's dog eat dog. If you've got better training than people, you're going to jump above those guys. If you've got better hardware, again, you're going to leapfrog people. And I talk about leapfrogging all the time when I'm on the phone with people. So if you've got an opportunity to do either training or the hardware and to make that jump, do it. Take full advantage and do it. So I mentioned the business starter packages. We've got the offers that Steve was running last week. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend it another week. I have had quite a few people email me already saying, Jamie, I've not had enough time to think. They might have only seen the offers quite late on, so I'll extend it for a week. That's absolutely fine. I had a meeting with Steve this morning. He says that's okay, but that's it. After this week, that is it. The prices are very cheap as it is. You're getting to fly more in with the ultimate business starter package. You're getting the smart controller as well. It's an absolute steal. So yeah, all three drones, fantastic and great discount. So you're getting 300 off, you're getting 400 off, you can get 500 off on the ultimate business starter package. It's an amazing saving. If you have any questions about these bundles, again, drop me a message. So CPD. I mentioned this earlier, and this is basically going into a certain sector, certain industry, and really propelling yourself into that. So you've got your Pix4D 3D mapping. That's a 1 and 2 day. Again, offer that online. Drone filming and imagery masterclass. So we have had this on the website before, but Again, next couple of slides, I'm going to go into this a bit more, but this is a really, really big one. So how to use your drone to the best of its ability, using your camera to the best of its ability. The Mavic 2 Pro, for example, is a fantastic drone. And some of the pictures it can get are phenomenal. They really, really are. Personally, I did my degree in fine art, so I know what is a good picture and what's just a bright picture. Courses like this will show you how to get the best out of your drone. Really crop it, using good cropping, really acknowledging what is in the image, getting the best out of the camera, rule of thirds, leading lines, contrast, brightness. There's so many things to really take in. I used to take about 10 pictures, delete them all, and then go back and take another 10 until you get that right image. And different days, different weathers, there's so much going on. There's so much to consider. What are you doing with your drone while you're taking that picture? What are you doing with your camera while you're doing that with your drone? And when you go to the larger stuff, it really will help, because you'll have two people. You'll have one man on the platform, you'll have one man on the camera, and that does make it easier. But when you're in the industry and getting started, there's a lot to think about. And so that drone filming and imagery masterclass, there's so much value in that. And to be honest, it's one of the cheapest courses. Off the back of that, thermography, if you are looking at thermal or thermal cameras, the price jumps up. You can't escape it. It really does. So a lot of people, we recommend do this course, have a little look, see what you think. There's so many settings, again, so many settings in the thermal sensors. So having an understanding for that will give you a great insight into what's in that industry, in that sector of the industry. Again, very, very good course. And you'll learn a lot. But yeah, again, online. Off-qual level 4 is actually already attached into the offer that we're doing at the moment. And as I say, that's stitched into the PSCO that we're running. The off-qual level 5, so this is Chief Pilot status, and this is a level 5 award. As I mentioned, this is like the second year of university. This is normally a 3-day course and it's face-to-face. We've just started it online. So again, this is webinars, this is modules for you to work through. And you'll go through this with Nigel, and you also go through it with Dan. This is for large companies. We don't always have actually the pilots doing this course. So if you're an MD, if you're someone who's overseeing a group of pilots, fantastic for you. You know that they're all doing it to their best ability. It's all about safe setup, best practice. Human factors is a huge area of this. Operational safety cases. You will actually touch on surveying, thermography, and inspection as well as the main areas of the industry. But we also have a lot of people that are one-man bands doing this. Again, so I talked about level 4, how that's going to set you aside from the rest. Do the same for off-qual level 5. That is really going to make you stand out. It's going to help how you look after your drone, the batteries. These are all dangerous components, and you need to know how to look after them properly. The PSCO is helping you get into the industry and start earning money. The off-qual level 5 is helping you become a master and a chief of what you're doing. So you're really taking care about every single process and all of the what ifs that surround this industry. Okay, so sneak peek, I mentioned it a little bit there. So Johnny Sharp, some of you guys might have been trained actually by Johnny Sharp. He does a lot of our PSCOs, and he works in the industry in cinematography and marketing, and his standard of work is so good, he doesn't have to market himself. He gets his work from word of mouth, and he picks and chooses what work he wants to do. That's the standard of his work. And what a lovely guy. What an absolute spot on fella. He's going to be running our filming and imagery masterclass. So yeah, the first 3 hours, we're actually going to do that for free. And then if you wanted to stay tuned for the second set of 3 hours, I think we're going to be doing that for 150, including VAT. But yeah, awesome course. I've seen a sneak peek of it myself. Fantastic. So if that's of interest, it'll be going live, I think this afternoon actually. But yeah, fantastic bit of kit, and what a lovely guy. In terms of using your drone, using that camera, there's a lot to think about. I've mentioned they're so easy to fly, but getting that great shot, that's what it's all about. This is all about imagery and the visual. So if you're getting fantastic shots day in, day out, you're absolutely laughing. So Ryan, really good friend of mine now. He's a top lad. He came to Copters, I think it was about 2 years ago now, and it was an event similar to this, but in person. It was at one of our business seminars. But yeah, just came over, wanted to get into something new, and as you can see there, really nice. Really nice quote from the fella. But yeah, he's constantly getting in touch with us, asking us questions. And I really do push all of you guys to do the same. Give us a call, drop me an email. Over the weekend, I'm normally on my phone anyway, so give me a shout. Any questions in the industry, give me a shout. And you will get, we have account managers as part of our team now. So 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the line, we're going to give you a call, see how things are going, and give you some honest feedback on how you're doing and what you're doing as well. Okay. So these are my top tips. And I think these are really big points as well. I mentioned there, everything we do is visual in this industry. For someone who's starting out, I recommend I screenshot this. I know we'll be sending this out later, but start today. Start today and really crack on with doing it. First of all, you need to create an Instagram business page. Instagram is visual. Everything about it is visual. Get it out there. Everything we do in this industry is visual. Take pictures of your drone. Take pictures of your drone flying. Use the imagery that your drone is creating. Every time you go out, get them saved onto the computer and send them once every day. Make it a routine. Create yourself a hobby and just do it every single day. Might be you finish your tea at 6, you post on Instagram at 6:30. Get into that routine of doing it. It might be an early one. You're waking up, you're brushing your teeth, and you're deciding what outfit you're going to wear. Post. And that's going to be the first image that people see on the phone. In terms of website, this is very similar as well. So get it up to date, get all your details on there. It needs to be clean, simple. Don't put any silly fonts on there where people can't read. I've seen some awful ones on the industry. Keep it simple. We don't need loads of pages going around everywhere. Let people know what images you're doing, what jobs, what industry you want to work in. In terms of details, get it all on there. Maybe consider if you have a normal phone and a work phone. Really have a think about it, guys. But a website very similar to your Instagram. Link the two together, which you can do now. And you'll get people bouncing from one side to another. Maybe having a blog on your website as well, that's really going to help. And you can get into that same routine of posting all the time. In terms of getting that set up, I recommend WordPress. I've done a couple myself with WordPress, but as Copters as a team, we say Wix and Whitespace as well. But I say WordPress, I really do. So very simple to use. Very straightforward, and I think they give you like a good template, a nice display, and a nice theme as well. So it's very simple, and you just put in that data. So number 3 is probably the biggest one, and it's the trickiest one. Pick up the phone and start dialing. For any of you who've seen the film, or for any of you who haven't, just start doing it. 20 calls a day, and once you get in that, move to 25, then move to 30. You're not going to get through to everyone. I completely understand it, and I've been there, but that feeling you're going to get when you land that first job is going to be fantastic. For any of you who are in the industry already and you're struggling to get going, make it 30, make it 50 calls a day. Set yourself a target and do it. There are so many people that don't do this and drop off, and they get in touch with us and they say, look, there's not a lot going on for me. I've been working, but have you honestly been really going for it? Look in different circles, look on LinkedIn, get these different groups, get in contact with people. In terms of your first win, so this is a big one. It doesn't have to be for money to start with. So this might be a friend, a colleague, someone around the corner. It doesn't have to be for money for the first few goes. Use it to build the experience. Use a case study. Ask them to write a few words down for you, what you've done, how you've treated them, the data. One, you can use that as on your website, on your Instagram. You can write those quotes out, but also you're getting something in return for that. And whilst you're building that experience and you're getting your flight hours up, it's not always going to be mega money to start with. So anything is fantastic. So, and that's how we get the ball rolling. They'll give you some feedback. You use that constructively, and then you go on to the next one. And we find a lot of the time with copters as well, feedback is fantastic. So we know our courses are the best in the industry, but when people say it to people like Dan, to people like Johnny, they are the best trainers. They're lovely, lovely blokes who know absolutely everything about the industry. And they wouldn't be out here promoting themselves like I do for them, because they're too humble for that. They're not like that people. But you don't come across people as nice as that and who will really go out of the way to help you. The amount of WhatsApp groups that Dan is in, our head of training, is phenomenal. And he's just there to help everyone in the industry. So if you have questions, we're going to help you with that. But in terms of our courses, they are fantastic. And when we get that feedback, it's a great insight for you guys that haven't quite started that yet. The final one, get out flying, build your experience. Spoke to a chap a couple of months ago, and he said he's got like a barn, a bit of a shack really, but he would just do a lap of that. Build an experience. How is he flying when he's doing it? Is it windy? Is he getting a bit of experience flying in the wind? He would do that every single day just to get used to it. And he would review the different angles, the different settings that he had the camera on. It's all experience. He became more comfortable with flying closer to it. He got some nice shots from afar. He's editing them more differently in post-processing. Just get out. If you've got anything, if you've got a nice tree, you've got a nice new car, take advantage and get nice images of it. So I would say any experience is good. So yeah, just get yourself out, guys. You'll find yourself in a few weeks, few months, you won't even be looking down at what you're doing. To start with, you are a little bit twitchy like this. After that, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. You'll be gagging for your next bit of kit. So big one, regulations. In terms of time, guys, I see that we are getting on, but don't worry, I will get around to everyone's questions as well. So regulations, here are some of the main questions that I get. I know I touched on it before, but it's all about safety. What do they mean for me getting into the industry? In terms of you doing the PFCO now, it will transfer over it into what's called an operational authorization. Now that is a fancy way of saying GVC. So you have your A2CFC, you have your GVC, and then you have this final sector, which is more specialized. But we don't have to worry about that. So everything that's going on is your A2CFC and then your GVC. In terms of industry, a lot of what this will do is actually let you fly a lot closer to things. So all the industries that are working around buildings, around people, you will be able to fly a lot closer. But yeah, in terms of changes to the industry, no, nothing major at all. There's loads of rumors going on around in this for the industry, a lot of Facebook groups, and I do understand change is always weird. But can you remember last November when they made the first changes? Everyone was terrified. The amount of awful rumors that were going around, and nothing changed. There was the odd little sign up. You had to pay £9, and we were making the steps towards what's going on now. But in terms of the way you fly, not a lot has changed. Should I wait until the new regulations start? It's a huge question, and I can see why people are considering if they don't need the GVC. If you're not working commercially at the moment, and it is just the A2CFC that you want, I think that makes sense. With the PFCO, I mentioned it earlier, industries know what that is. It's been tried and tested. So at Copters, we are really urging people to do the PFCO, use the summer to fly. I know there's not a lot of commercial flying going on at the moment, but yeah, just take advantage and do it. And we've got time in our hands. Use this time to train, and everything will just turn straight over. In terms of the new regulations, they have a lifespan. So they've got a 5-year lifespan, and then you renew again. And that will be exactly the same for the PFCO. You'll just renew it. And again, like I say, Copters will look after you and will give you a notification of when you need to do that. So again, we'll do the hard work. We'll have like a little notification for you. Will I need to sit the course again? It's a big one. There is likely to be a transferal test. And again, with that lifetime, off the back of that, you'll have to do like a 30-question quiz, and that'll just transfer you straight over into the new regs. Again, Copters will do that. You'll have to come into one of our locations. Most of you have already been there anyway. So yeah, and we'll transfer you into that. So again, all you need to know is it's commercial now, safety data, and Copters will look after you, and we'll get you through the hard bit anyway. In terms of costing, well, they've actually not released all of the syllabus yet for the actual course, for the courses rather. So we'll get you all sorted in terms of the PFCO. In terms of pricing, a lot of our competitors do have pricing out there, but like I say, they haven't actually released all the syllabus, so we can't put an accurate figure on that. So like I say, in terms of the PFCO and the offers that are on at the moment, crack on and go with that. In terms of distances, there will be a bit of BV loss. That's actually included in the new regs as well. So that's a great opportunity for any of you guys that want to fly a little bit further. I think we are going to be posting out a blog post really, really soon with Dan, again, doing a bit of an update. So stay tuned for that. And in terms of more detail, like I say, the module 12 on the course, we will go into it. We go into it in a hell of a lot of detail, so it gives you a peace of mind. So yeah, what next really? If you have any questions that I don't go through today, get in touch, or you want a bit of a chat, get my email down for any of you who haven't already. I can also see there's quite a lot of conversations going on in the chat, which is amazing to see. A lot of networking as well. Fantastic. And I'll have a record of that so I can catch up on it for anything that I've missed. But like I said, we'll crack on and I'll get through some of these questions. Okay, so I've got quite a few to get through. Oh yeah, loads. Fantastic, guys. Cheers for all the questions. And like I say, for any of you, seen a funny one there. For any of you who I don't get through, like I said, I'll get back to you with an email, I'll give you a call, whatnot. Okay, so Mavic Air 2, would this be any good? Great question. And in terms of the specs, it looks like a fantastic drone. It looks absolutely fantastic. In terms of the size, I do worry about it because there's the classic saying is all the gear, no idea. And when you turn up with a job and you've got a smaller drone, it does give off that toy vibe. So you do have to be a little bit careful. So I had a chap who turned up with a bit of he had his drone in a Tesco bag, and that just looked awful. And I hate that idea. So things like fly more kits, get it in a bag, get it in a case. A hard case looks fantastic. If you've got something like the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual, which comes in that hard case, or a Matrice, maybe the new 300, it comes in these large cases, and it's like turning up and having a nice suit on, a good handshake, and it sets that impression. If you're turning up with a smaller drone, are you going to still have that credibility? Some people, on the other hand, do have a small drone and can get some great footage. It's all they need. So if you're getting good quality from that camera, and the Mavic Air 2 has on paper some amazing specs, if you give someone some data, they're not going to say, oh, that's fantastic. Did you shoot that on an X5S? They're just going to see, oh, that's great data. Thank you. That's an amazing picture. Great stuff. So hopefully that answers that question for you there. Okay, so Glenn, really good question here. In terms of Mac or Windows, I've only ever used Windows personally, and I would recommend sticking with that from what the general consensus of the office is. In terms of editing footage, Final Cut Pro. And to be fair, you can use that on Mac mainly as well. Final Cut Pro is really where I find a lot of my joy. I think it's really easy to use. There's loads of YouTube tutorials on that as well. So without a doubt, I go for that. It is quite expensive, but in terms of quality, it's fantastic. And then off the back of that, for still footage, Photoshop. You can do some really simple things on Photoshop and make a picture of what it is. So I really do recommend that. So Final Cut Pro and Photoshop. Okay. Ooh. Okay, that was weird. Just jumped and I lost a few questions there. But I just saw a question which was basically you'll be representing copters. So yeah, just to go over that, you'll be going through our processes, going through our training, and when you're in the industry, you'll be representing us because you train through us. So if you're not doing the work you should be, if you're not following the right processes and you get in a bit of trouble, that's going to reflect badly on us. If your business isn't doing fantastic, again, that's going to reflect badly on us. So we want to give you all the tools that we can, all the information that you need, all the best hardware for you to really get into the industry and crack on and be successful. So we're going to push you as hard as we can to get you through that. So yeah, like I say, if you give us the opportunity, we're gonna really push you onto this. And it's all about momentum and putting in that hard work from your side. But yeah, we'll give you all the tools that you need. Okay, here we go. So a couple of my questions are just loading up a little bit differently. So Nick Ford, I saw, has just said about, do you help finding jobs? We'll give you all the tools to actually give you an amazing opportunity to get into the industry and find work. We do post jobs occasionally, but it is occasionally. That actually might be work for copters as well. So if we're doing any testing, we'll give you a shout. If when you train through us, we post on our Facebook closed group and we'll let you in there. Copters Academy, soon we'll be posting work on that as well. So any of you who've got a business starter package or looking to get that, we'll be posting on there. But yeah, ideally, it's all about pushing you into the industry with all of the data, all the information that you need. Okay, let's have a look. I can see we're getting on for 12 now, guys. I will crack on and get through a few more. For any of you who want to stick around, I'm more than happy to keep on cracking on with these. I can see is. A lot of my questions do keep going. And for anyone who wants to take that information down, do so. I'll leave it on that page there for you guys. I'll just jump on. The reason I'm pausing a bit every now and again, these questions do just keep dropping off. I wonder if it's because we're getting on to close to an hour. Any more questions, guys? Get them in the group and I'll get through to them. So yeah, off the back of that, someone's just asked about the that new course with Dan. So the Professional UAV Imagery Masterclass. So that's 150, or including VAT actually. And so that's for the second part. So the first part is going to be for free. The second part, for more value, more knowledge, is going to be 150. including VAT for that. Jules, I can see you've put a question up there about public safety work opportunities, search and rescue. A lot of that is all about networking and getting in with the right people. A bit of a given in terms of LinkedIn. That's a fantastic one, but I think a chat with Sam would be best for that. So I'll make a quick note for you there, mate. Because Sam does a lot of talk on that. And for any of you guys that are looking at that side of the industry, a lot of the work they do is charitable. So any help that they can get is a fantastic one. And again, I mentioned it's not always about financial input, but you can get a lot of data, a lot of practice, a lot of experience from doing jobs like that, and helping people out. We've seen a lot of work in the news where drones have found people when people couldn't. So yeah, I really do recommend that's a great place to jump into. But I know it's not ideal at the moment, but when we can, jumping in a car, knocking on doors is a fantastic place to do it. I know when I was trying to get jobs when I was younger, I used to get on my bike and go shake hands with people. I recommend you do exactly the same. Go out and meet people. Let people see the kit that you've got, that you've invested in, and show off. Really, really do. So Mark, I've seen there, fantastic. Thanks for the question. And yeah, we will help you find work and get into the industry, but we're not going to give you that. We're not going to give you that role. Jason, good question. So can you do mapping with the Mavic 2 Pro? Yes, you can do it with most of the DJI, most Parrot stuff will do mapping. It's just all about that precision. The Phantom 4 Pro is fantastic for how precise the data is, but things like the Pix4D 3D mapping software will work on most drones. So Parrot actually did a case study where they created a 3D image of a full island. It wasn't a very big island, but it's still an island nonetheless. And that was with their work. And Pix4D is actually a sister company to Parrot. So you can see how well they'll work together. Okay. So Paul Porter, so good question about pricing. In terms of pricing, it really varies, and you're absolutely right. You can price as you wish. A rule of thumb, I wouldn't leave the house when you're getting into the industry unless you're going to get paid £200 to start with. We want you pushing 500 plus, depending on the size of the kit, but surveying, inspection, you want to be that 750. And then when you're working to that very high standard, we want you working at £1,000 mark. As a chap that graduated through Copters, not through myself, but he works twice a month, gets paid £3,000 a job. I'll try and find out where he works, and he just does that twice a month. Absolutely fantastic. And because we're in that early adopter stages, there's so much opportunity for you to just jump into. Okay, so Todd, really, really good question. Just about the LCAS application. So not everyone has access to this, but anyone who does have LCAS, we're very restricted in what we can do through LCAS. So mainly, you've got, the two options. You have the TQ UK level 4, which is the PFCO wrapped up with the level 4 course, or you have the TQ UK level 5, which is the level 5 off-call course, the chief pilots. So these are your two options. In terms of hardware, what I would suggest is if you get in touch and we can sort out a bit of a package, and that's what I've done in the past, because on paper, LCAS won't let us do anything any hardware basically. But yeah, amazing question, and everyone asks the same one. So I'm glad you've asked that. Thank you. But yeah, so essentially it's just the training, but we can come to some sort of agreement. Okay, so Mark Evans has asked about the price of the course. At the moment, normally it's $829 excluding VAT. At the moment, it's $599 excluding VAT, and that's for the online course. For anyone who's been furloughed and has a lot of time on their hands, it's $499 £5.17 excluding VAT. So essentially £5.99 including. So you get that 20% off. With this webinar, for anyone who's on, I'm more than happy to do that fair low price for anyone. If you get in contact with me this week, I'm more than happy to do that. We'll say $499 on the dot, excluding VAT. So for anyone who wants to go with that, you're more than welcome. Drop me an email, give me a call, and we'll get that booked in. The same for the business starter packages. I'll just go back to that slide. For anyone who missed it, there we are. So you've got those 3 options. Again, I'll extend that for the week. So on Friday, end of, no more. We can't do any more. So Dave asked a question about his drone. What I say, Dave, drop me an email to this and I'll be able to walk you through a process of how to do it. But that's fantastic. What Dave's done is he's asked for permission to go flying in this area, and that's exactly how you should do it. In terms of another tip of mine is just be polite. Ask those who, if it's their land, maybe getting a crate of beer, that sort of thing, and they'll let you fly. A lot of time, if you are polite and you let people have a bit of notice and say, look, can I fly here? A lot of the time they do. If you're rude and you trespass, then they're going to be grouchy. Of course they are. You wouldn't like someone flying in your back garden. So just let people know. Yeah, Glenn Crouch, that's a fantastic question. So you've asked, basically, I want to create a name for my new company, but I don't want to have the same name. It's an amazing question. I wish more people asked me this, actually. I'm really, really glad you brought this up. Every Thursday, I call through the CAA list, which is essentially everyone who's got a PFCO. This might be a company, this might be a one-man band, and I basically just call them, see what they're doing, how they're doing it, and I recommend you do exactly the same. So if you go on the CAA website, you'll be able to find a list, and it's an ebook you'll be able to download. I recommend you do exactly the same. For one, you're not going to get the same name as someone in the industry, and then 2, do a bit of research. The amount of conversations I've had with people that have lasted a long, long time, just seeing what people do, you'll pick up some great tips. You'll see who might be working in your area, some collaborations. You can go spotting for people, build a network in this community as well. So yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for that. Okay, and my questions have just gone. You come back. All right, guys, I'll do a few more minutes of questions once these come back, and then I think we'll call it. And like I said, anyone who I've not got around to, I will do. I've booked the rest of the day off so I can do just that. Okay, let's have a look. In terms of Keenan, I see that internal flying there, Helios 2. There's absolutely no doubt about it. If you're doing internal flying, Helios 2 is the way to go. That thing is phenomenal. There's nothing like it. You can put a Mavic in a cage, but you're going to struggle like hell. I'd say Parrots are fantastic at flying inside. But yeah, I would say the Helios 2 is best. Yes, you can do mapping with the Mavic 2 Pro. That's good. Okay, yeah, quite a few similar questions, but yeah, all good. What are we saying? Sorry about the pause in between, guys. My questions keep flashing away from me. Okay, so good question from Steve about how do you overcome the 50-meter rule. In terms of the rule, if you're in control of a situation and you have permission to be there, you can, let's say I'm flying, let's go back to that barn I mentioned on that farm. My friend would do laps and laps and laps, but it's his farm, it's his barn. He can land on it. If he is in control of that situation, if he's got permission to be there, he can get as close as he wants. It's when you're not in control. It's when you're not in control and you don't have permission. That's when you have to keep your distances. So a little flyer, again, knocking on doors, let people know that you're there, and just let everyone know. It really is about just being open and not being secretive. But yeah, really good question that. But if you're in control of that situation, you can land on it. So Clint, you've asked about the exam on the Gov website. So that's slightly different. So that is to register your drone or yourself. The PFCO test is to do with your application to the CAA. So you've got your 3 components, and your PFCO test is 64 questions. You need 75%, and then you crack on. Okay, Jade, really good question there as well. So is the UK PFCO usable and transferable to other countries? A lot of the time, it is all about just a little transferable test. So, for example, the 107, let's say in America, just a quick quiz that you'll have to do when you go over there. So it's very good to tick the box to say that you've done a level of training. In Europe, there's loads of different areas where you'd have to do a different test, but essentially it would be calling the airspace, basically governors or EASA in that area, getting in touch with them, and they'll give you basically a walkthrough of what you have to do for whereabouts you are. But yeah, in terms of transferal, it will, and it's recognized everywhere, but you might just have to do another test, a little theory test. John, can Americans have a PFCO? Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can. We don't discriminate. Yeah, just crack on. If you're working in the UK, that's what you need. It is the PFCO that you need. Oh, Stuart, I can see that in the chat. How much does a spotter get paid? Really good question. So vice versa, you can give them a case study for someone who's starting out. But when you're getting into the industry, it's normally an hourly wage for them. So instead of it being like a job lot or a set amount, it's more about an hourly wage. But again, it's completely up to you. If you think there's a better way, go for it. Absolutely go for it. Colin, I heard that the PFCO is being discontinued. Yes, the 1st of November is the new date. But after that, it's just going to transfer over. So if you do the course now, it'll transfer straight over. Don't worry about that. But yeah, it's just changing into new legislation. That's all it is. So don't worry that nothing's going to be lost. Carl, whereabouts are the course locations? So go from top to bottom: Aberdeen, Edinburgh. You've got Leeds, Crewe, Rugby, Belfast, Brighton, Hook, Kent, Cardiff, and Norwich, and they're the 11 locations. Well, I'm pretty proud of myself there. Martin asked about the unique drones. Yeah, copters don't work with unique just because we don't feel like they're a fantastic partner for us. So we just believe that DJI Parrot is a really great way to get into the industry. If you're really set on that, then yeah, that's absolutely fine, and we can help you around the route. We don't really trade with them. We don't really, we're not a reseller from them, but yeah, in terms of, there's probably a different option that we'd recommend. But yeah, in terms of DJI, they're the industry leaders. They've got a huge market share of the industry. I refer to them as like the Apple of the phone industry. They've got a huge majority. I think it's almost 70%, that sort of area. So, and it's because their kit is so good. In terms of Parrot, they're like the Android to Apple. Fantastic kit, very stripped back, very simple. But again, they're fantastic. In terms of specs, when you line them up, Very, very similar. You could argue you get more for your money. Is the Evo 2 too much for a first drone? If you've got the option, if you, in terms of training, in terms of hardware, nothing is too much. Just get yourself into the industry, guys. I think we'll wrap it up there. I think I've answered most of them, but I can see my questions are jumping out a little bit. So I want to say a massive thank you for you all listening to me all ramble on for about an hour and a bit. I really hope there's a lot of value in this. I'll be doing this once a month, I think now. It's just a bit of a plan that Copters are doing. So if I didn't get around to your questions, I'm sorry. I will be in touch. I think I've answered quite a few of them now. But like I say, my software is starting to lag out a little bit. But like I say, I'll be in touch with as many of you as I can. Please drop me an email. I say maybe don't give me a call today because I think everyone will be doing that. So drop me an email. That'd be amazing. But yeah, I really, really hope that's given you a lot of value or a lot of insight into this industry. And at the end of the day, guys, this is a fun industry. We're getting paid to fly drones, and that's what it's all about. And if anyone wants to argue against that, that's absolutely fine. But I know every time I go outside and fly, I enjoy it. So yeah, it's an exciting place to be. We're in a very, very new place. As I mentioned, these 3 bundles are up for grabs and ending on Friday. Any questions, give me a shout. Top tips, get them written down. You will get a copy of all of this as well if you want to listen to me ramble on again. But like I say, every month, for anyone who's missed out, let a friend know. Anyone else, give me a shout. But yeah, thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day and stay safe as well. Stay safe.